Hi there, everyone. Josh Rugger here in studio. I've been in the weather lab since 2:30 a.m. tracking that significant severe potential in portions of the river valley as well as northwest Arkansas, at least in terms of that flash flooding risk. Dan Scoff mentioned yesterday, and I agree 100% with him, that the severe weather risk is quite low in northwest Arkansas in terms of that tornado potential because we're already starting to see some severe weather in portions of NWA right now. We're going to go ahead and look at hot heat and cooling mega Doppler right now in order to show you those severe thunderstorms. You're probably hearing them right now if you're living just to the north of Huntsville. And there it is right there. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for portions of Madison and Carroll counties. This was just issued about 10 minutes ago. It goes until 12:45 p.m. This storm is moving northeast at about 45 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail, the main threats with these storms at this current time. But this is not the only storm that is fired off this morning in northwest Arkansas. We also had a few thunderstorms that were just to the southwest of Fayetteville that produced some heavy rainfall. Another strong storm that has since dissipated near Springdale, but another one around the Bentonville area. So you kind of see that morning convection pushing through the area as expected, maybe a little bit later than previously anticipated, but it's here and it's happening now in northwest Arkansas. And again, we haven't seen a lot of widespread heavy rainfall across the river valley right now. And that does concern me quite a bit because that instability is going to be allowed to return to these areas. The warm front could potentially lift north. And if that happens, the strong long track tornado potential will be realized south of Interstate 40. So we're going to be tracking this very, very closely as we go throughout the next several hours or so. I'm going to show you the latest Storm Prediction Center risk, but I'm going to check some comments here real quick. Super loud thunder in Bella Vista, said Zoe, and you're exactly right. We zoom in just a little bit closer here. You can see near the Bella Vista area that thunderstorm that's impacting the area. Good news is that it is not severe at this current time, but probably producing some pretty heavy rainfall. Probably woke up your dog or your cat or whatever animal you got because these storms are pretty loud right now, and they blew up pretty quickly. I'll show you live Doppler radar in just a moment to show you what's been going on over the last 3 hours. We went from like nothing on radar. I'm like, are we going to see any activity at all until now we're starting to see those showers and storms. Let's go ahead and look at that Bella Vista WeatherBug Network camera. And yep, you can see it right there. In fact, looks like the camera went down right now. I'm going to make sure that's not just an error with OBS, but it does look like maybe the camera went down. I wonder if one of those lightning strikes caused that. Very well could have. I'm looking right now on our weather graphics, so stand by on that real quick just to make sure. And no, it looks like that's just an error with OBS because here is the Bella Vista camera, and you can see those storms moving through there right now. Pretty heavy rainfall. Like I said, expected that. Let's look at our Huntsville WeatherBug Network camera as well so we can see that stronger storm. Woo! Look at that one. That one's a highly elevated thunderstorm. That's what we call those. And elevated thunderstorms just mean that they're not closer to the ground, so they have more of a hail and wind threat rather than that tornado potential. And I'm going to go ahead and go onto our WeatherBug Network site real quick and kind of adjust this camera a little bit so we can see what's going on with this storm. I know we get a time lapse from this, but I just want to make sure this is pointing in the right direction. I want to face this camera to the north because that's where it looks like that thunderstorm is occurring right now. Braden, that's a very good point right there that you just made. I'm wondering if that's going to happen because there's a boundary that's lifting to the north right now that's previously was draped over southern Pittsburgh and LaFleur County. And if that continues lifting north, we're in trouble this afternoon in the River Valley. That's all I got to say. So we're watching that very closely. So let's shift this camera to the north, and there you go. Now you're seeing the storm off in the distance there. It's a pretty good view of it, and you can see it's got a pretty high cloud base. It's a nasty-looking storm, but it doesn't have that tornado potential like we will see later on this afternoon in the River Valley. But this tells you, folks, that there is a lot of energy going on right now in the atmosphere. We've got dew points in the 30s and 40s in northwest Arkansas right now, and we've got these thunderstorms just ripping through the area. I am concerned about what could happen in the River Valley, especially in Scott and LaFleur counties as we go throughout the afternoon hours. But if you live in Fort Smith, you also need to be concerned. This is definitely a very gorgeous storm, Colin. this is a very concerning situation right now, and I do think we're going to have to watch this very, very closely. Jacob, that east wind, that's why the severe potential is not very high in Northwest Arkansas. And the dew point's only in the upper 40s, which it is no surprise that it's going up because of those storms that fired off. But man, it just tells you, if you've got a storm system like this, you don't need a lot in order for storms to fire off. Let's see if we can get any lightning from this view here. Curious to see if that will happen. If we can get a couple lightning strikes, because there is quite a bit of lightning showing up on radar right now. Again, this is an elevated thunderstorm, though, so no tornado risk expected at all with this current storm that is pushing through Huntsville. Let's see here. Dew points at 63 in Mulberry. Very interesting, Jeremy. I'm very, very, very concerned right now about what's going on in the River Valley. Man, 63 already in Mulberry. I'm going to have to check the dew point map in just a minute to see what the official reading is at Fort Smith Regional. No tornado potential with this storm that's going on right now in Huntsville. In fact, if we look here at the storm relative velocity, I'm going to stop this radar loop. I'm going to switch to Megadoppler real quick. We'll go right back to that view from Huntsville. But you look at this storm, and this is a classic elevated thunderstorm on SRV, or what we call storm relative velocity. You can see how, you look at this and say, hey, is that rotation? Is that something that we have to be concerned about? Well, if it lined up on base reflectivity, yes, but this is likely hail making the storm look a little bit worse than it is on storm relative velocity, because it doesn't line up with each other if you look at base reflectivity and SRV. Now, there is some hail, though, and pretty big hail as well. This is hailstones about 1.19 inches, so a little over quarter size, close to quarter sized hail going on just to the north of Alabama. So, yeah, there's some hail that's going on there. Again, the possibility of severe hail is very high. In fact, the mean hail size, according to this, is about 1.25 inches. So definitely a severe thunderstorm going on right now, just to the north of the Huntsville area, but no rotation at all with that thunderstorm. So, again, severe thunderstorm warning goes until 12:45 p.m. Let's go back to that Huntsville WeatherBug Network camera so we can continue to show you that view. Jacob, I don't think the warm front I don't think it's going to lift into Northwest Arkansas. I really think the tornado potential is very low. It's not zero. You never want to say that the tornado potential is zero anywhere, especially with a system of this magnitude. But these storms that are moving through right now could sap the instability, first of all, from the area. And also, I don't think the dew points are going to be high enough. We don't have enough low-level moisture. And I don't think the warm front will lift far enough north. But I do think it will lift as far north as the Interstate 40 corridor. So we're going to have to watch this very closely in the River Valley as we go throughout the afternoon. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up some graphics here on WSI so I could show you guys what the latest severe weather potential is, because we did get an update from the SPC just a few moments ago. And not a whole lot's changed compared to what we've thought previously, though I do think the tornado potential has increased quite a bit for Scott and LaFleur counties. It does look like the severe thunderstorm warning was just continued. I was looking to the side here on that. So let's go ahead and look at that severe weather potential now. We'll go back to these cameras in just a few moments, but you can still see the moderate risk of severe weather is to the south of our area right now. That's where the strong tornado potential does exist. If you zoom in a little bit closer here, pretty fat, level 2 out of 5, slight risk of severe weather along the Interstate 40 corridor. Really, as you get along and south of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel, that's where that slight risk ends. But, man, that moderate is dangerously close to Scott and LaFleur counties, and that tornado potential has increased. You can see that the SIG-TOR is clipping those areas. I do think it could potentially go a little further north, a little bit more into Sebastian County, looking at the latest data. We'll have to watch the latest trends very closely. Really, at this point, folks, it's all about looking out the window, right? The models can only do so much for us now. Currently, we don't have the instability in place at all, really anywhere in our coverage area besides LaFleur and Scott counties. But I'll check the dew points in just a minute. I saw Jeremy, I think, mentioned that there is that dew point at 63 in Mulberry. We'll see what Fort Smith Regional's got. But at this point, we're just looking out the window and looking at what's going on in the atmosphere right now. And really, that's going to determine what the severe weather potential will be as we go throughout the afternoon. So let's take a look at the damaging wind threat. You can also see that it's mostly focused in the River Valley, but again, still over northwest Arkansas. I do think we see that threat for damaging winds, and obviously we're getting the hail right now, but I do think hailstones up to 2.5 inches, tennis ball size, in fact, will be possible just to the south and west of Fort Smith. Okay, so a good question, Jeremy. Would you agree that a tornado watch could be issued at any point this afternoon? Yes, I do think a tornado watch will be issued later on this afternoon. I do not think it will be issued north of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. I don't think Washington County will be included in it, but we'll see. Again, there's always the possibility that it is if the warm front lifts further north. But at this current time, I don't think that will be the case. I think we will see a tornado watch from Fort Smith southward. Wyatt, I don't think so. I don't think a tornado watch will be issued for northwest Arkansas. Perhaps, but I just don't think it will be because of that warm front not lifting north. Okay, so Jeremy, you're insisting I look at the dew points right now. I'll look at them right now. Let's see what's already going on outside. We're going to look out the window. We're going to see what's going on. Here's the current dew point map. Drum roll, please. 51, according to Fort Smith Regional Airport. So let's see. That was updated at 12 o'clock. I'm going to go look at the 5-minute observations now from Fort Smith to make sure that's a correct reading. But that's not going to get it done quite yet in terms of significant tornado potential. It is going up, that's for sure. And in fact, I wouldn't doubt that the wind has shifted to the east now, and it has. Okay, so according to the 5-minute observations, Jeremy, you were curious, the dew point is currently 52, but it's gone up from 46 to 52 over the last hour or so. So definitely starting to see an uptick in terms of that deeper low-level moisture, but still not enough yet. So we'll watch this closely. We're still going to see that trend. But right now we're in the lower to middle 50s in dew points. That's still a lot better than what we were yesterday, a lot better than what we were earlier this morning. I'm concerned right now, folks. This is it's 12:16 right now, and we've got about another 3 to 4 hours before storms really start popping to our south and west. This is just going to allow more time for that better instability and that better moisture return to push into the river valley. If you live along and south of Interstate 40, you need to be watching this very closely. Let's look at some more WeatherBug network cameras. Bella Vista, obviously, down on our OBS system. Let's go to Huntsville here and see what's going on. So there's that storm off in the distance there. Let me see if I can adjust the camera just a little bit more here at that pole. Of course, it's right over where the pole is. So I can't really see what's going on behind there, but it's going to be close, Alex. It's going to make it, I think, into Scott County for sure. The models have been insisting that there will be enough instability and enough support for strong tornado potential in Scott and LaFleur counties. Sebastian County, Logan County, perhaps. But I'm not 100% sure yet. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like this is for our Oklahoma County, so near Delaware County. I'm going to turn this off in the background. So it looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just now issued for Delaware County. I'm going to look at Mega Doppler here. You can see that. Again, just clipping our weather coverage area. This severe thunderstorm warning, I think, will be continued into Harrison. It does look like the hail actually has decreased quite a bit in terms of its size. We'll see. It's definitely still a strong thunderstorm, definitely still going to produce some heavy rainfall, but it does look like that hail is on the downtrend. Again, this is a very elevated thunderstorm. No tornado potential at this current time with it. So, Josh, yep, I checked that out just a few moments ago. I saw that. But I wouldn't doubt if the instability is higher than what that says. Because remember, that's the RAP, which is a good model in my opinion. But at the same time, the HRRR, the high resolution models, are insistent on that instability, making it into Scott County, making it into southern Sebastian County. And it's been very consistent with showing that tornado potential in the River Valley. So we're going to have to watch this very closely. Mitchell, yes, the flash flooding potential is still there for Northwest Arkansas. In fact, it's really there for the entire coverage area. If we go back here to the graphics, I'll show you that right here. It's pulling up right now, but we've got that flood watch in effect for the entire KNWA Fox 24 coverage area. It started just a few moments ago. It goes until 12 o'clock p.m. on Friday. And if we look at that latest excessive rainfall forecast, you can see that level 3 out of 4 has actually been shaved off from portions of Northwest Arkansas, but still level 2 out of 4, which is still quite high. Scattered flash flooding possible north of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel, along and south of Interstate 40. That's where the widespread flash flooding will be likely later on this afternoon and really continuing until Friday morning. Eric, it's too early to say. I don't think so, though. I don't think Mountain Home will be under a tornado watch either. I just don't think the instability, I don't think the warm front is going to get that much farther north than the River Valley and the I-40 corridor. Good question, Alex. No. No, I don't really think there's going to be any freezing rain, first of all. Temperatures won't be below freezing. They'll be in the middle 30s, but I do think we could still see a few snowflakes. The models are trying to take it out. I'm not going to completely say that it's not going to do it. Here's one thing I can pretty much guarantee. I do not think that we will see impacts. I don't think we'll see winter weather impacts at all with this system, but we could still see a few snowflakes early tomorrow morning, and we'll watch that very closely. See, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Josh. And I said this to Riley Bell yesterday, too. I was talking to him about this, about how terrible the models have been with the temperatures, how they've been terrible with the wind direction. They were insistent that easterly winds all day long, and now we're already seeing it shift to the east-southeast in the Fort Smith area. I'm looking at the obs right now. Dew points are going up. I am concerned right now about these models maybe underdoing the instability yesterday and now starting to put it back in. So, I mean, again, it's all about looking out the window right now. Let's look at water vapor. That's something I haven't looked at. First of all, I want to answer a couple more questions here before we do that. I know everybody wants to get those questions in, wants to know what's going to happen in their area. Amy, you said, what about Russellville? So, Russellville right now, I believe, is getting clipped by that enhanced risk of severe weather right now. If we zoom in a little bit closer here, we can show you the Russellville area. Well, actually, it's in the slight risk right now, Amy. Now, it's not in our weather coverage area, but I wanted to answer this question because you're very close to that enhanced risk. You're very close to that higher tornado potential. And if I move your comment out of the way here and I show you that tornado potential right now, remember, this can change, but very, very close to that higher end tornado threat. And we're going to have to watch very closely where that warm front sets up, Amy. So keep an eye on the skies today, for sure. Stay weather aware. I say if you're along the Interstate 40 corridor, I know the tornado risk doesn't look as high around Greenwood and Boonville. You still need to be aware of what's going on today because these storms can take off in a hurry. And right now, we're seeing a lot of sunshine. In fact, let's go ahead and look at what's going on in the River Valley. Well, you see a lot of cloud cover over our Miss Laura's camera. That's certainly good news. We want that cloud cover to hang on. But now you look at the public library and you see peaks of sunshine. So I'm going to look at water vapor here. I'm going to pull that up. We'll keep it on this camera here. In fact, let's go back to Bella Vista. I forgot Bella Vista's down. I keep going to that. Let's go to Huntsville here. We can see that storm in the background there while I pull up the latest water vapor imagery because I'm interested. I'm interested to see what's going on out the window right now. Well, you can see some thunderstorms already beginning to develop. That's what you see just in northern Texas, northwest of Dallas. You see that convection that's developing right there just to the northwest of Dallas. No severe warnings, it looks like, yet on that, but looks like there's some thunderstorms already beginning to pop in these areas. We'll watch these storms. These might be the storms that could impact northwest Arkansas later on today. It does look like it's trekking more towards NWA rather than the River Valley, but we'll watch this convection start breaking out. It's going to be interesting. It's like we say with pretty much every severe weather event, it is really a race to see to see if the instability wins out or if the storms develop a little bit closer. So let's look here at water vapor real quick. So you can see that moisture streaming in right now, and here's the low pressure system off to our west, really beginning to dig in and kick out that moisture. You can see that dry punch as well. Man, oh man, if you have friends and family in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that live around here, they need to be on their toes today. I'm telling you right now, Heather, I see your comment. You need to be careful. If you must drive to Dallas, you need to be careful this afternoon. In fact, um, I don't know how far you are away from Dallas, if you've already left, or if you are already in Oklahoma, or if you're in Northwest Arkansas. I would either, if you can't make new plans to go a day later, I would make sure I'm very careful. Now, OKC will avoid most of the severe weather risk, I think, but Dallas, looking at water vapor right now, and this dry punch that's kicking in, these storms are going to go absolutely bonkers later on this afternoon. And I'm telling you what, you need to be careful if you're driving southbound, Heather. I would say don't do it unless you absolutely have to. If you have an emergency that you have to go attend to, just be very, very careful. They also dropped the 15% tornado risk, Josh. I saw that, but at the same time, I'm worried about this system, especially those storms that ride along that warm front. Those storms are really the ones we got to watch for the strong to violent tornado potential. And that's what concerns me about the river valleys. The warm front's going to be draped over somewhere in the river valley. And if one of those storms taps into that boundary, it's going to be bad news, folks. It's going to be bad, bad news. Just looking at some other comments here. Jacob, the reason why the dew point's going up in Northwest Arkansas right now is because of that storm activity that's going on. Remember, dew point's not the only ingredient you need in order to have significant severe weather potential. It's not really low-level moisture that's kicking in right now. We're not seeing that instability kick through Northwest Arkansas because the warm front is to the south. That's where the warm sector is at this current time. So while the dew point is going up in NWA, it's kind of deceiving, is what I'm saying. It's still an easterly wind. We still got that easterly component to that wind. That temperature is just really cool right now. It's already up to 64 in Fort Smith, so the temperature is going up rapidly with that east-southeast wind. Still not the perfect wind direction for everything to take off, but still something that can increase that potential. I'm going to look at Fayetteville. Fayetteville's up to 63 now with that dew point of 50, according to the observation. So the temperature did rapidly increase. But again, the warm front lifting north is going to be required for that significant tornado potential and that instability. Jackie, as I've mentioned, tornado potential, again, is in the river valley along and south of Interstate 40. If I go back here to the graphics, we'll pull it up again. The strongest tornado potential is in Scott and Lafleur counties. This has always been the case. We've talked about this for the last several days, how these two counties needs to be on the lookout for tornadoes as we go throughout the late afternoon, early evening hours. Between about 3 to 8 o'clock, that's when things can get wild. Along Interstate 40, there is still that tornado potential. So if you live in Fort Smith, if you live in Greenwood, if you live a little bit east of there in Logan County, if you live in Waldron especially, you need to be weather aware today because that tornado potential is greatly enhanced. Todd and them are saying the warm front looks to be from Mena to Little Rock. Well, I can tell you right now, Tommy, that is correct. The warm front is draped from southeast Oklahoma in Pittsburgh County all the way into southern Lafleur County. So if we go back to Mega Doppler here, I can show you where exactly that is right now in terms of that warm front positioning. So if we pull up the counties here, Lafleur County's right here, right? Pittsburgh County's over here in McAllister. This warm front is draped right along here, right along this area where the mouse is. That's where the current warm front is. It's pretty far north right now, and that kind of scares me a little bit because all it's got to do is lift north into Scott County, into the I-40 corridor, and that's when the tornado potential is going to be greatly enhanced. And notice how there's no activity going on in the River Valley right now. Eric, you should still be concerned because of that flash flooding risk. The flash flooding potential is definitely still there. In fact, there will be a thunderstorm that may clip your area in just a few moments. If you look off to the west, you can probably see a significant amount of lightning going on with that storm that is now in Carroll County, southeast of Berryville. That's why we've got that severe thunderstorm warning still in effect. But these storms are beginning to move out of our coverage area right now. This is that morning convection we were talking about. And it looks like there's more storms trying to develop in northern Texas and southern Oklahoma. So we will continue to watch this very, very closely. Jackie, I do think Fayetteville will avoid most of the tornado potential. I'm not going to say that the tornado potential is zero right now. You never want to say that with a system of this magnitude. However, I do think Fayetteville has a much less chance of seeing tornadoes this afternoon into tonight than the River Valley does. So stay weather aware. Flash flooding potential is certainly still there. And we'll continue to keep track of this. I want to show you guys the latest future track, by the way, because I've been watching this all morning long. I've been here since 2:30 a.m. And from 2:30 till now, the models have been insistent, at least the HRRR, that there is going to be a supercell that will cause problems in the River Valley this afternoon. And I can see why. Look at this. I mean, there's so many breaks in the clouds. There's sunshine showing up on the model here. And that's concerning, folks. You don't want to see this showing up anytime on these high-resolution models. So you see right around 3 o'clock, we still got no activity going on in the River Valley. I mean, I said the earliest time frame for that severe weather is about 3, 4 o'clock in the River Valley. And it still doesn't even have any cells going on at 4 o'clock. Now, it tries to drop the temperature a little bit east of Poto. I wonder why that's going on. But it's been insistent that there is going to be tornado potential in the River Valley later on this afternoon. So we're going to have to watch this very closely. You can see that here on Future Track. Again, those thunderstorms are going to just erupt as we go throughout the overnight hours tonight and continue into early tomorrow morning. It's a very, very messy radar here. The good news is the severe weather threat, I think, is going to be really decreased after 10 o'clock p.m. because by that point, the instability is going to be well southeast of the area. Let's look at this. I have not looked at this lately. And I wonder why it dropped the temperatures in Poto, because I'm guessing it's going to drop the SIGTOR a little bit now in the River Valley areas because of that. So here's that significant tornado parameter trying to surge north. It kind of falls apart now, according to the latest models. So again, that could very well happen. And if that happens, the tornado potential is not going to be as high in the River Valley even. But at this point, it's really just about what's going on out the door. It's going to be very close, folks. See, this right here shows it, riding right along the Scott County area. And this is where the warm front's going to be draped too, right where that nose of that significant tornado parameter ends, north of Little Rock. That's where the warm front's going to be, and that's where I think the highest chance for a significant long track tornado is going to be. So we'll see what happens. Let's take one more look here at what's going on satellite and radar right now. Again, the thunderstorms are moving out of the way, moving out of northwest Arkansas right now. You can see, look how quickly they fired off. This is the last 6 hours. Right around this point at about 10 o'clock, I was like, where is the convection at? There was nothing going on. In fact, we saw a lot of clearing in Fayetteville, and then the storms eventually broke out. And the models have done a pretty good job with that so far, to say the least. So now you got a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for the Joplin area. So if you live in Joplin, strong thunderstorms moving through. But here's that next little wave I'm watching just to the south of Wichita Falls. We'll watch this messy convection. I don't think that really will have too many impacts right now. But if we look at water vapor again, I'm telling you what, folks, southwest Arkansas, the Dallas area, you need to be on your toes right now. If you have friends and family who live here, you need to be checking in, making sure that they're weather aware today, because This right here is what we call that dry punch, and it is starting to nose in to northern Texas, northwest of the Dallas Metroplex. And this is bad news right here. This is bad news. So we'll keep watching this very, very closely as we go throughout the next few hours. Dan Scoff will be in here within the next hour or so. So we'll likely have another update. I'll answer a few more questions before we hop off here. Josh, you said parts of the system and its tracking location of the triple point remind me of 12/26/2015. Certainly, I think so. In fact, we can look at one of these surface maps going back to that time. If you could just stand by for a few moments, I can try and pull that up real quick. But certainly, I agree with you there. I know which event you're talking about. And let's go ahead and look at that here real quick. So I'm going to go back to 12/26/2023, and you've been doing a good job covering the Dallas Metroplex as well. This is a bad system, man. This system means business. That is for sure. Didn't pull that up for some reason. Let's go to 18Z here, and yeah. Just-in-time moisture, right? We talk about that all the time, Josh. Just-in-time moisture with this system. Now, it does look like this nosed in at the last possible second. And I'm going to show you guys this surface map that I'm looking at right now. So let's go ahead and share that. Let me know if you guys can see that on the screen. I'm going to pull that up full right now. And let's go ahead and look at this. So you can see that warm front nosed in right over the river valley at 18Z or 1930Z on 12/26/2015. And you can see those dew points, very juicy. Now, man, 76 degrees with 68 dew points in December. That's pretty crazy. We can also look here at what went down during the afternoon hours as well. Let's go ahead and retrieve that. And look at that. The warm front lifted to the north after that. So maybe not quite exactly what happened with that system, Josh, but very, very close to it. That's for sure. So, but a very similar system. So we'll continue to watch that very closely. Yep, rain's moving into Mountain Home. Yeah, it was sunny this morning, Nikita. And that was actually a surprise to me. I didn't expect really the sun to come out in northwest Arkansas, but sure enough, it did. But eventually those thunderstorms did develop. Sun is out, 66 in Van Buren, and the dew point continues to go up. Larry, the dew point continues to go up. We are watching that closely. Yep, training thunderstorms, David and Jacob. That's what. That's really what we're watching. Yeah, the moderate flooding risk was removed, but again, a slight risk is very high. That's still a high risk of flash flooding. The reason why it was removed is because the main heavy rain threat is going to be in the river valley with these stronger thunderstorms. So let's go back to that excessive rainfall forecast. You can still see the level 3 out of 4 excessive rain along and south of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. You can still see the level 2 out of 4 in northwest Arkansas. That is still high. Even though it's been chopped off a little bit, there is still going to be a significant amount of heavy rain. I mean, just look at this: 2 to 4 inches of rain area wide expected. That's a lot of rain in a very short amount of time in that area. And we can look at the models too here. Let's look at what the models are pumping out in terms of rainfall forecast, because that might also be taken into account, believe it or not, what we'll have next week. So let's look at the 4-panel rainfall totals. Again, all of us are going to see heavy rainfall tonight. So the graph is showing about 2 to 4 inches of rain. Heavier swath in the River Valley. European showing 2 to 4 inches. GFS showing 2 to 4 inches with locally higher amounts area wide. NAM, 2 to 4 inches area wide. So everybody is going to see that potential for widespread flash flooding tonight for sure. Okay. Folks, I'm going to go ahead and call it good on this weather live stream. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We do have a weather blog that's up right now. You can find it on the Weather Authority app. Also go to nwahomepage.com. We've been updating that with detailed information on the latest severe weather potential. If you guys have any more questions, we'll be happy to answer them on the next weather live stream. You can also email us, as well. We will be happy to answer questions if you directly email us. You can email me directly, jrugger@knwa.com. I love answering people's questions. I love interacting with everybody. And if you also want to contact us directly, you can also go to, I believe, weather@knwa.com. So if you tag weather@knwa, down right now. So there I am. I'm back again. So in case you didn't hear that, weather@knwa.com. If you want to email us those pictures as well. You can also do that in the Weather Authority app. God bless everybody. Stay safe, and we'll continue to keep you posted as we go throughout the rest of the day.